Good morning, everybody. My name is Dave Finale, and this is Real Estate Talk-TGIF, episode 306. And I have the one, the only Lisa Copeland with me today. Now, I know we had scheduled to have Haas Pratt, but Haas Pratt has some things he's working on. And Lisa, you know what, Lisa, I mean, you talk about how great Haas Pratt is, and I didn't get Haas Pratt because of stuff. And I got you, though. I mean, holy crap, this is just absolutely amazing. And we'll get into a lot about you. And so I mean, when we started talking, and you were going to come on the broadcast. I mean, not everybody that doesn't know me wants to come on this broadcast. Was there a reason you decided to come on, just to help Haas out, or what?
All the above. I love to support the industry. And after you told me what you do, and first of all, congratulations on 306 episodes. Okay. From somebody who does a show in podcasting, that's huge. And it's consistency and it's dedication and it's commitment to the industry. So, congrats to you. So, Haas was, for personal reasons, was not able to make it. Haas has been so important in my real estate journey. One of my very dearest friends. He's kind of like a little brother to me. And so, we just all support each other. That's what we do.
Well, that's great. We're going to go to a quick intro video, and then we'll get back with the heart and soul of what we do. Hit the videotape, Nelson. Real estate agents, are you looking to acquire clients consistently to grow your business and income for a great lifestyle? Well, this is Dave Finale, and I'm here to bring you the Real Estate Skill Builder broadcast, Real Estate Talk TGIF, brought to you by Real Estate Skill Builder and the Modern Agent team. Good morning, everybody. Again, as I said, this is Real Estate Talk TGIF episode 306. It's also 303 weeks in a row. And we are so excited to have Lisa Copeland here with us. And Lisa, we're going to talk about you and your life and everything. But I have a question I have to start out with, which I do with everybody. And that question is really simple. What does TGIF stand for?
Thank God it's Friday.
You are so close. And I want to thank you so much for giving it a really good shot. It means thank God it's finale. It's just the way it is. Anyway, so thanks again for being on here. You are just an amazing human being in what you do. I mean, you are, hold on one second. I'm messing everything up here. It's just amazing that the things that you have been able to do. You're an entrepreneur. You are just a great real estate person, real estate agent, real estate entrepreneur, and you're just an entrepreneur that's been around a long time. And
you calling me old, Dave?
Huh?
Are you calling me old?
No. I said long time. Here's the thing, Lisa. You use that word OLD. I don't use that word anymore. I just say, you know what? I'm just aged a little bit more than you. That's really about it, right? That's the way I look at it.
A little more experience.
Yeah, we're experienced. Wisdom.
Yep.
We have a lot of wisdom. That makes us sound old too. So I'm not going to go there either. But people will listen to us simply because we have a lot to say. And you know what? The great thing about you, the great thing about me is that we're not afraid to say it. And that's really the important part. So Lisa, let's get into your journey, your path, where you started. I mean, you didn't start in real estate. You've been in real estate for about 4 years. But talk to me about everything before, because you're a well-known human being from way back when. So let's talk about you.
Wow. Okay. So just quick, I started in the car business. I started selling cars, kind of went into that by accident in the 80s. I had wrecked my car. I had not paid my car insurance. Now, my mom and dad had given me the money to pay my car insurance, but I was a fashion major in Dallas. And so, of course, I was doing what any good fashion major would do, and I was spending it on clothes and probably the nightclubs. And so I wrecked my car, no insurance. I called my dad. My dad, I wrecked my car. Like, I need a new car. And he says, you've got insurance. I'm like, well, about that, I didn't pay. So, bottom line is he told me to figure it out. And so I did. My husband, who was not my husband then, had just graduated from college. He was selling cars. Job market was tough in the 80s in Dallas. And he said, you ought to sell cars. Because why would you want to sell cars? Because back then, if you were a car salesman, you got a car to drive. And I was in Dallas, and there was like no bus system. And not that I would have taken a bus probably if there was. There was no Uber, right? So it took me down a path, and I spent my first round in the car business. I spent about maybe 5 or 6 years. My husband and I then got married, or then, whatever, we got married.
Sure.
And I started having kids, and I realized the car business was not good if you were trying to raise babies, working Saturdays and nights and all of that. So I had a very good friend that I knew, and he got me in the mortgage business.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I was in the mortgage business for about a year when I said, I can start my own mortgage company. So 27 years later, we still have Aon Mortgage Associates. It had a couple iterations prior to, but we founded this entity in January of 2000. So this particular company is 24 years old. So, and I spent about 12 to 14 years in the mortgage industry, had a lot of loan officers. We were closing several $100 million a year in loans. And I did that until I decided to kind of retire. I'd kind of rung all the bells. I'm one of these people that once I ring bells, I'm ready to move on. So I had the opportunity to relaunch Fiat and Alpha Romeo to America. Crazy how that story went down, but I had a business partner and he was a car dealer. And Fiat was something that was just something really interesting to both of us. And, so we were able to write the proposals, and we were granted the first non-factory store. There was one that had already opened in LA, but the factory owned it. But we opened up the first independent dealership in Austin, Texas, and probably February or March of 11. My team broke the world sales record. I hired women, minorities, and millennials because I wanted to change the face of the auto industry. I sold in March of 2016 and went on speaking tours. I wrote a couple books. I did a TV show in Canada called Car Sharks. Kevin O'Leary's production company was the owner of the show. So I say we did a show. We did a couple of pilots. And I just decided I did not want to be a reality TV star for cars. So I was a corporate speaker, and I was a very busy corporate speaker. I've got an agent in New York, and then COVID hit. And literally, my agent called me in maybe April 1st, or maybe March 20th. I don't know. It was sometime in that of 2020, and said, we're done. Like literally, I had 17 cancellations within 3 days from meeting planners, right? They were canceling, they were putting off. Like I'm still trying to catch up in 2024 and 2025 for contracts that were signed for me in 2020. And so as fate, I believe, would have it, my good friend Haas Pratt, who I knew because he and I had the same agent in New York. And so he and I met back in 2018. He reached out to me and he said, what are you doing? Like, what are you going to do? And I said, well, the only thing I haven't done is have a real estate license. And I said, I own a mortgage company. So it makes sense. I know I'm a real estate investor. I know the market. I know real estate. So I went and got my real estate license, and he and Tarek Moussa from HGTV, we made a decision that we wanted to try to build the largest real estate team in the world. We are the best partners on the planet because, so that was in like June, maybe May of 2020. We've been together ever since. I love those guys. The first call that I made when I started with eXp Realty, understanding how we're trying to build these teams and build these empires, is I called my good friend Grant Cardone, who I knew from the auto industry. And I said, Grant, let's do this. And Grant, because he owns syndicates and Cardone Capital and all that, he's like, I'm not getting a real estate license. But again, I believe in fate, and as fate would have it, Elena Cardone overheard the whole conversation. And she said, I'll get my real estate license, and I want to build the biggest team in the world. So we had this great trifecta, and then we added Elena, and kind of the rest is history.
That's a pretty cool story. I mean,
Hopefully I didn't take too long telling it because I'm old. So it takes a while to get through all those years,
Not at all. I mean, the founder of the team I work with, Brett Sikora, started in the auto industry as well, selling cars.
I'm going to tell you, auto industry people that I have found when I am recruiting, if someone is coming out of the auto industry, if you're watching this right now, they're the best. Like they know how to live on commission. They know tough times. They know how to negotiate. They know how to work the hours.
Would you say that getting into the auto industry would be a great minor league for the real estate business?
I was at the top of my game in the auto industry, being the number one dealer in the country. The chairman of the Fiat Chrysler Automobile, Sergio Marchionne, appointed me to the National Dealer Council. So, I was like a senator to 2,400 retailers, all
Wow.
Chrysler, Dodge, Ferrari, Mazda, all of them in the country. So I would say that was probably the pinnacle of my career.
Wow.
Sitting at the table with the big boys, making decisions for a brand, for all brands. And I did that for 4 years. And that was, to me, that was really good training ground for
Right.
what I do today. But when it comes to what I love to do, I don't think I ever loved the auto industry. I did it. It was challenging. It was tough. It was rewarding. It was tough more than it was rewarding. But real estate, God, I love helping people win. I love helping people build their empires. I love sellers. I love buyers. But most importantly, I have almost 1,000 agents on my team. I love watching them win, and I love helping them win.
Lisa, I said earlier that you and I are alike in a lot of ways. And in this way we are too. I run boot camps every month for agents just joining our team. And when people ask me, I was asking what's driving them, what's their purpose, what's their reason. And I got to tell you, over the years with me, I own my own brokerage, and I left it because I couldn't have those wins that you just talked about. And basically I wanted to work with people that wanted to work. And that's been a saying I've said forever. Right. And now I'm able to do that. And what makes my purpose is and my reason and my why and all that stuff is when an agent comes to me and says, Dave, it worked, or Dave, I was a success, or the call worked. We did a big call day yesterday with our entire team, and 2 of the newest agents of the teams were 1 and 2 in those calls with appointments and everything else. So that's for awesome. Me, those were in my group. So I was very, very pleased with that. So so my purpose came true yesterday. I was very, very excited. We're very excited about what we do, as you are about, you've been in the business for a short time, but have been able to build your following. How have you been able to build that many people in your organization over such a short period of time?
And if I'm speaking to a lot of EXP agents, here's what I'll tell you. Everybody told me I was insane going after Grant Cardone. You will never get Cardone. And now, of course, I had a relationship with Grant from the auto industry. Grant, I was Grant's client, so he would personally call on me. So I knew Grant. There was a trust level. Grant knew our success, or my success in the auto industry. But you have to go after the whales, right? You can't be afraid. People laughed at me. Haas and I told everybody. We said we will get Cardone, and the very higher above us said it won't happen. Why are you wasting your time? And so I would say, make a list of people that you want to work with. I didn't want to work with Grant and Elena because they're celebrities. I wanted to work with them because they were excellent, because they were 10X. And I know that we are the sum of the 5 people that we hang out with.
Hell yeah.
Huh?
Yes, I said, hell yeah.
And so not only did I get to work with somebody I love, Elena's become one of my very best friends, but when you reach out and you try to find people that are excellent, people that will push you, and so, I think people, and it happens on my team, they limit themselves. Nobody's going to get mad at you if you ask them to partner or to join you. Now, they may not say yes. I get plenty of no's, but they at least think, wow, she thinks or he thinks enough of me to invite me into their kingdom, their empire, their business. And so I think it takes courage.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage. And one of the things that you've been able to do is you've been able to use persistence and probably being aggressive to what you wanted, to go after what you wanted. One of the things, when we talked the other day, we talked about a lot of different things, and we're getting into a couple of different things. And one of the things you said was being known beats the best agent. I think you said something like that.
Best known beats best.
Best known beats best. Right. Okay. That's what I wrote. Okay. Right. Best known beats best. How do you get known, Lisa?
That's a great question. And, I told you guys about how I met Haas Pratt. And that was because he and I were working with the same agents out of New York. And so he called me in 2018 and he had me on his podcast. So this is before I ever got into real estate. But he and I clicked immediately. We were both from Texas. But this agency that I worked with, and I have a PR guy now. And his name's Tyler Mount. He was Ryan Serhant's guy. And, what I learned from working with these top PR companies and these top agencies is that you have to get known. So you can be the best realtor on planet Earth, and you can have the stats and the numbers and the this and the that. But if people don't know you, I'm going to use a Grant Cardoneism, they don't flow you. That means they don't do business with it, because if you're not known. So what I learned from working with that agency in New York and when I was trying to sell books and speaking tours and things is that you have to get known. And so many people make the mistake thinking, God, nobody wants to see me. Well, they wouldn't follow you if they didn't want to see you. Right. They would not interact with you on social media if they did not want to hear what you have to say. And I know with all my followers, and I've got a lot of them, but I know they don't all agree with everything I say. Right. But I think that they at least want to hear what I have to say. You know, sometimes to even maybe rebut what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's okay, right?
You have to have some enemies. I mean, as far as people that don't like you, you have to have people that
and that's hard. I had to learn that in the car business, and especially at such a high level, being a female, being so high profile. Boy, I had some people that were not rooting for me, even people internally that were not rooting for me.
They say if you don't have any haters, you're not doing it right.
Yeah, I know, but it's hard. Like, I mean, people say that, but still at the end of the day, I know some pretty famous people that still get a little like cringe when they read something from a troller.
And that's human nature. I mean, look, when I post stuff and someone, I'll post stuff that gets a lot of interaction, and then I'll get a stupid comment or an insulting comment or something. And, everybody says, well, you got to delete that right away. No, leave it up. Yeah, leave it there, because the people that are supporting you, if you got 100 comments, 98 of them are positive, or they're going along with the flow. Don't worry about that other two. You got to have them. Just it's a contrast, right? So best known, best. Right. So
if you are the best known, like let's just say, for example, if you're in real estate, okay, and you're in a small town like I am. There could be somebody out there that sells more real estate than I do. But if they are not the top of mind person when somebody's looking for an agent, then they're not going to get the phone call.
Okay. All right. So there's agents out there that believe that if they just stay on social media and keep posting and posting and posting, they're going to get followers and they're going to get likes, but they don't get any fucking, business, right? They don't get any fucking business. So what good is the social media? What are they missing?
I think, I'm so glad you asked me this, Dave, yesterday. My sales meeting's about an hour a week. I went almost an hour and 45 yesterday with my team because I said, guys, you got to take a stand. Like, you have got to have an opinion. Now, you and I said, we're not going to talk about politics or money. I get it. And I won't. But I believe to truly be an influencer, right? To truly be somebody that people want to follow, you have to have an opinion. And, now having an opinion and being polarizing are two different things.
100%.
Right. So polarizing is always coming out with negative where you're talking bad about a group or people or whatever. To me, that's polarizing, like, ooh. But to come out and say, that the Fed is an idiot, and he is, like, that's an opinion. Okay. Yeah. And or to make a stance like I did yesterday on inflation, and I think stimulus money is driving inflation. So stop the stimulus, and our country comes back into the center. So things like, so that's an opinion. Now, will that polarize some people because I said I think the Fed's dumb? Probably, but I'm okay with that, right?
Yeah. So have an opinion. Okay, so not that I want to continue this thing, but my opinion really is.
You're scared to continue this conversation with me.
I am.
Going down this road, you're probably a little afraid.
Yeah, when it comes to the Fed and it comes to stimulus money, they created the issue we're in now. Plain and simple, and they don't know how the hell to get out of it, and they're just like throwing parts at a car. Plain and simple. Like a mechanic that doesn't know what he was doing, they throw parts at a car. Like a physician that doesn't know what's wrong with you, he keeps taking your
leadership to get the Fed under control, and we don't have that.
Exactly.
That's all I'll say.
Okay. So when it comes to this, leads right into the next question. When it comes to how to do something, you have to know how to do this. You have to know how to do that. The best way to learn everything is to listen to experience. What would you thought on that?
So the best way to learn how to do what? Give me an
example.
example.
The best way how to be really good at stuff. You said have an opinion, right? You said you've got to be real. You got to do all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
But we need best known beats best.
Yep.
So that means that you need to be out there. You need to know what you're talking about, number one. And number
Yeah,
two,
you better. Otherwise, you're going to get crucified.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that means being very strategic and knowing exactly what button to push at the right time. But sometimes you're not going to know what button. It
Right.
also means that you need to be, as my dad would say, malleable, flexible, right? Talk to me about when we talk about this, right? And one of the pieces on your website says, "Stop selling, stop mobilizing."
Stop selling, start mobilizing.
Start mobilizing, right?
Yeah.
Talk
Yep.
to me about that. Talk to me about
Yeah.
that and where that comes from.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. So when I was working with that marketing company, we came up with a course. We're getting some feedback here. We came up with a course about, and this was in 19, about how to stop selling, start mobilizing, on how to build a movement, and how to build a movement behind your brand. Like Apple is a movement. Well, we got a little nervous after 2020 about building movements and things like that. So we kind of went a different direction. But because not all movements are positive, right? But prior to, they were. So, but I do believe that you have to mobilize your fan base. Okay, guys, when you're in business. So if you're a car dealer, if you're in insurance, if you're in real estate, doesn't matter. You're going to have your mega fans, who are your mega supporters, who are your mega clients, right? Those are the people who are going to support you no matter what. So if you've got people that follow you, you've got to give them what they want. And that's more of you. I mean, and I believe that, and I feel like if someone thinks I'm on too much, then they'll just quit following me. Okay, next. But for everyone that quits following, I'll probably have 2 that start following. It just is what it is. And there are people I have followed for years and I don't like the road they've gone down. So I just hit unfollow. I don't need to hate on them. I don't need to do anything. I just unfollow, right? It's as easy as that. So stop selling means like quit selling everything, my value and my purpose, and all the stuff the sales courses tell you. Forget about it. Start mobilizing your fan base, start mobilizing your clients, start mobilizing people that believe in you and know that you are the best thing when it comes to real estate or insurance or cars or whatever it takes. Mobilize those people, create messaging that talks to your fan base, to your audience. And if you do that, you'll never have to sell again.
So when we talk about your audience, and I work with this a lot, and I try to tell agents, look, who do you want to work with, right? Who is your audience? I know you have your sphere of influence, you have the people you know, right?
Yep.
And but who else do you want to target your message to? And they say, well, what do you mean? What do you know? I said, well, there's things that you like to do. Let's face it. The person you want to work with is the person that looks back at you in the mirror. You want to work with people like you, right? You want to work with those people, but you're going to work with others as well, right?
Yeah.
But you have the most fun working with people that you get along with because you got similar interests, et cetera, et cetera. And that's where it comes in to one of the other things that was on your site. It says, build an army of passionate brand ambassadors.
Yeah.
Right. And that is where all of this goes to when we're talking about, work with the people that are your people, right? Work with the people.
But I'm gonna correct you a little bit on that one, because I realize you're taking that off the website. So when we wrote the course, and I was hired by several Fortune 1s and 5s to go down that road, and how to build fan base and how to do this and how to do that. So my best example, I've got 2 of them, of companies that have built a stupid, insanely loyal fan base where they never have to go on sale, and they're the most expensive of everything, is Whole Foods, which is based in Austin, Texas. And in Texas, we call them whole paycheck because they're so expensive. And Apple. So have you ever seen Apple go on sale? No. Have you ever, people will stand in line all night long to get the latest version of an Apple phone that will be on the shelf in 3 days, right? Those are fanatic fans. They want to be first to market, but they believe so much in the product, it doesn't matter what it costs. And I tell my team, you have got to be so valuable. You have to be such an asset to your clients, whether it's negotiations, protecting them on inspections, acquisition of properties, helping them create the best financing terms, whatever. You have to be so valuable that if this whole thing comes down with NAR, they're willing to pay you. That nobody fights with you about your commission because you're worth every dime.
Right.
I believe if somebody works with me, it might cost them 3%, but I'm going to show them how to make 100% in 10 years, and things like that. So I think that in many industries, not just real estate, but salespeople are afraid to sell the value. It doesn't matter how great I am. It is how great I can do for you. And so many people want to sit back and go, I'm so great. I'm so great. Okay, great. But what do you know, if I'm a consumer, what are you going to do for me? Okay. You have all the trophies and accolades. Awesome. But what will you do for me and my family?
So the question for me is really simple. I mean, we see this so much in the real estate industry, at least here, up here is, I'm this, I'm that. It's a lot of eyes, right? And one of the things I try to help agents with is stop talking about yourself, because nobody really cares.
They don't
right?
care at all.
The other people don't care. I mean, what you need to do is you need to actually, this is the same thing I talk about all the time, is building relationships, building rapport with someone that you don't know first. After you build rapport, you can build a relationship. After you build a relationship, then you probably could ask for the business and get it. But the relationship part of it is the most important part. And we don't do that by saying, look at me, I got a new listing, or this is how we do business. Nobody gives a shit about how you do business. What they care about is, do you care about them?
Right.
And 100%. That's the first thing that we have to do as real estate professionals, is we need to care about the person we're talking about. And how do we do that? Well, we do that through questions. We don't do that any other way but through questions. And like you said, nobody really cares. No, I mean, nobody tells you how great you are. And that's part of what you as an individual and me as an individual is, and we can use the word brand if we want to, right? And that's one of the other things that I saw is, you have to build a brand, and you're going to build it through a lot of different ways. And that brand has to be sustainable anytime, anywhere. And you can't be shifting what you're doing, because then you're a fraud.
Yep. Okay? 1,000,000%.
Talk to me the best way to build a brand to make it sustainable.
I think you have to be authentic, right? So I think you have to walk your talk. Example, I'm telling people to go out and build an empire. I'm telling them to buy real estate. I'm telling them that real estate's inflation proof. That your money in the bank, it's deflating faster than the country is. Okay. But so if I was not a homeowner and owned property, that I would be a fraud, because I'm telling people go buy real estate, and let's say I didn't own any real estate. Right. To me, that's being a fraud.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have to know what you're doing, but
you have to walk your talk, right? You have to walk your talk.
So there'll be people watching this broadcast live and later that are newer agents, younger agents that don't own real estate, that don't have the wherewithal to do that.
Then they need to be honest about that, in my opinion, and they need to be putting a plan together to buy real estate. So maybe they share that with their base, their audience, like, hey, you know what? I'm 30 years old and it's time for me to get into the game. So now I am saving $1,000 a month for the next 10 months. I'm going to go buy a duplex, because Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae just came out with a 5% down owner occupied program. I'm going to have 5% by December of 2025, and I'm going to be a homeowner. And I want to take you, Mr. Customer, my sphere of influence, along on the journey with me. Who else wants to start saving $5, $100, $1,000 a month? And all of us work toward the home ownership. Okay, to me, that I would be like, okay, I like this person. So they may not be there yet, but they're taking their audience on the journey with them.
Absolutely, 100%. And that's through a lot of different channels, a lot of different things on social media where you have to produce. And like you said, authenticity is the key to everything you do. And then you just have to keep trying different things. And of course, I got this off your site, is become unapologetically fierce. Yes. 365 days a year. And I absolutely love that line. So
success never sleeps. So, people say to me, oh my God, well, I feel like I was tough like for 5 days. I'm like, well, the other 2 days you fell off, like you lost ground. Success never sleeps. You have to have courage. You have business and real estate and mortgages and insurance and cars and everything that is driven by this economy. You have to have courage. All of us you're on straight commission. I'm on straight commission. Anybody who's in sales pretty much is on straight commission. That takes courage, right? So success never sleeps. I don't get to be Lisa Copeland 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and then go be some slag from 6 to 10 o'clock at night and then take weekends off.
Right.
I don't have that luxury.
Right. Yeah, it absolutely. I mean, okay, so the new agent gets in and says, I got to work 7 days a week. I got to do this 7 days a week.
Yeah, I do.
Right. You do it 7 days a week. And you know what? There's there's levels of everything you do. Like I said yesterday, we did a great session. We did 9:30 to 2, and that was like great because we have agents get 4, 5, 6, 7 appointments at
Love that.
calls. Yep. We had 20 agents participate total, and we did 1,150 dials, 150 some conversations, and 40 appointments.
That's amazing. Congrats.
Good, right? So,
Yep.
and it doesn't sleep. And the whole idea is what we try to do and try to help agents with is we try to help them build a muscle. We want you to build that muscle of habit, of discipline, of persistence, and never giving up and never stopping, right? Because we know that after we do certain sessions and help agents and do training sessions, that if they don't continue it the next day, they've wasted their time. And you know what? I'm not a kind of guy that likes to waste his time. So I need to stay on top of them. So I need to do their job sometimes for them to keep them going, to keep that motor running, to make sure there's enough juice there. And that's how we do it. So you've been in the business, you've been in real estate 4 years. And
4.5 years.
Yeah. What's that?
Yeah, you're right. 4 years.
Is it 4?
Yep.
And you've been
I started with EXP in May of 2020.
Okay, so you've been ultra successful in my opinion. Okay, and one of the things I also saw was selling movement over a product, the art of the big sell.
Yep.
Right. Is that how you've done it? Is that how you've built from 4 years up? Is that how you've done it? And give us some stuff on that.
Yeah. So interesting. So I wrote a book called The Art of the Big Sell. It never went to publishing, but I wrote that after I wrote Crushing Mediocrity. I co-authored Crushing Mediocrity. And then I wrote a book for women consumers on how to buy a car. I felt like that was just important, but we wrote The Big Sell and the art of the big sell. I like the art of anything because I do feel like the greatest salespeople in the world, it's an art. I feel like it's very intentional. It's not just, hey, come, best price, best this, best that. And for people out there, Never Split the Difference is one of the best books I've ever read when it comes to sales and negotiations. I highly recommend if you're in sales, you read that book. And that's where you have the art. So we wrote the book, but we wrote a keynote speech around it. And so I did The Art of the Big Sell. I mean, and I've done it for everyone from Bank of America to, oh my God, the tax place, the big tax one that does all the stuff. Anyways, I think I did it over 100 times. It's on my website, all the companies we did it for. But it's the art of the big sell. Like you have to go into every negotiation. I don't care if it's an insurance policy, if it's a real estate deal, if it's a car, whatever it is. You've got to go in with the mindset that this is the big sell. It is the only sell. That you have to put everything you've got, all your talent and your treasure into the big sell. And, so there is not a deal or a conversation that I don't go into where I don't think, how, just like me being on this show. I mean, okay, how's this going to benefit me? How's this going to benefit my career? If there's anything, I will never, ever, and I've been in business a long time, so I've got the benefit of knowing how to do this. I will never go into a situation where I think I'm going to lose. So what does that look like? Okay, It looks like maybe I talk to a client on the phone and they are just cray-cray, unreasonable, and I don't believe I can bring value to that client because he or she and I are never going to see eye to eye. Right. I will walk from the deal all day long. I've done it many, many times. If it's a negotiation on property, if it's business partners I've got, I think that's why Tarek, Haas, and I work together so well. Like we all know our lane. We all know what we do. We know the benefit. We've never had a fight. We never had anything. It's always been very good, very supportive. Just like when I got the call that Haas needed me to do this today, boom, done. Okay. I'm happy to do it. Because that's a win because I'm winning for him too. So the big sell really is you have got to be intentional. You've got to be intentional in every conversation you have, every deal you get into, whether it's business or personal. I've had the same group of friends for over 20 years. I don't really let very many new people in my circle. I'm not interested. I don't need them, right? Like you've got to be extraordinary to come into my inner circle because I don't trust people enough, because they have too much to gain by getting in my inner circle. So I think that you have to absolutely be intentional, and that's all part of the big sell.
Right. It is part of being intentional. Is it, when you talk about being intentional and being the big sell, does it also mean that you are a little bit, could that mean pushy as well?
I don't know. I don't think I'm pushy.
No, I don't think
Um,
so. No.
yeah, but I want to define that because I think there's some people that push just to win. So I will push something when I believe it's the best thing for my client. Like I need you, I'll say these words. I need you to reconsider what you're saying, or I need you to reconsider the pricing on your house. And here's why. I need you to reconsider like not upping your offer $10,000. And here's why. So I will push somebody when I believe, I shouldn't say I know because we're not always right, but when I believe that I'm right and it will benefit them if they will just listen to me, I will push it. But I also know when to say, okay, done. You're the boss, you're the client. But I at least know that I got the benefit of my experience out, and I provided them the best information for them, and then they have the choice to say yes or no.
Right, exactly. So the point is really simple, that to be pushy is to back it up with reason and
Yep.
fact, and heavy duty experiential opinion.
Right.
Right.
But not, and make sure if you are pushing a product, sale, or service, right, that you're not pushing it because it benefits you. Because let's face it, if we make a sale, it benefits us because we get paid. Well, to become great, and the art of the big sell is you're pushing it because it's the best for your client, and they will win in the long run because of it, and you will get paid. Getting paid should be the second part to the deal. I mean, there are times I have no clue even what I'm going to make. It doesn't matter. I'm so about the deal, making sure that the deal makes sense for my client. When it makes sense for my client, I'm like, oh, great. Okay, now, and I'm also getting paid. Oh, that's just a bonus. So when you've got the mindset of my real estate tagline is helping families build generational wealth in real estate. So anything I can do to help a family build generational wealth, I win. And oh, by the way, I might get paid. I will get paid. But my purpose is to help people build generational wealth in real estate.
So one of the things I was thinking about as you were going through that, and I had to write something down so I didn't forget, because I want to make sure I listen to everything, is that a lot of people get in this business. Let's face it, they get into business for money because it's a job, right? It's how we're going to support our family, send our kids to school, college, the whole thing, right?
Right.
And then there's coaches and trainers and mentors out there that says, don't go in there thinking you're going to make money. Go in thinking you're going to help people. So there's kind of a difficulty that I have with that, and a lot of people I know in the business have with that, because they're here to make money.
Of course.
Right? And they're here to make money, but you're saying don't go in thinking about the money. Well, let's see. If I work a 9-to-5 job, at the end of the week, I'm getting a paycheck,
Sure.
right? And it might include insurance and all this other stuff. But now what I've got to do is look at that seller, that buyer, as a paycheck. But
Sure.
one of the things you just said can transform that thought process really simple, right? You're there to make money, but you're there first to make sure that the deal is actually making sense to that client from what they told you that they wanted to do. Right?
And then you will make money. So go into it with the best of intention. Hey, I'm all about making money. I am a capitalist. If you know anything about me, I am a capitalist.
Yep.
So I am all about, and I'm an entrepreneur, I'm all about making money. But I don't wake up in the morning and think, okay, I'm going to make $10,000 today. Now I have to find my victim, my client, so that I can go make $10,000. I wake up thinking, okay, I looked at deals all day yesterday. I found 5 really interesting deals. I'm going to call these 5 clients and say, what is your appetite for? And I always open it up with that. So I do, I've got such a big client list. Like I went to a broker's open last night. Amazing house, amazing. Like to the point where I would buy this house if it was 10 miles closer to where I live. And so today I'm going to call, I've got 5 or 6 people in mind, and I'm going to call them and say, hey, what is your appetite for moving to Salado? Here's why, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So did I wake up today and think, okay, I'm going to make 3% on $1.5 million. Let me just see who I can talk into this. No, I really think that there's a lot of benefits to this property. It's, because it's got separate cottages so that, they can make money. So I'm all about cash flow. So now I'm going to pick up the phone and say, guys, I have found an incredible opportunity sitting in a resort town, and it's got a homestead and two separate structures on the golf course that could provide cash flow. What's your appetite? All right. Now, if indeed I sell that property, I make, I don't know, 3% of $1.5 million. I don't even know what that is. $50,000, $60,000. I don't know. I mean, I don't even know. Like, I'm like, okay.
Right.
But I'm so thinking about that property and what it could do for somebody that I'm picking up the phone and saying, what is your appetite?
You're calling people that you know to talk to them.
Clients, yeah, leads, people.
Right.
Yeah.
Clients or people that you know, people you're working with that are looking for something. And the reason I say that is because I want everybody to understand is that it's a relationship you have with the person that you're calling,
Yep.
where you have knowledge of what they are, what they're doing, what they are, and you know what they have told you, what they want. You may have shown them stuff, and you may have had conversations about it, and you saw this property. Yeah, this might work for these people, right? Let me tell you why it might work for you. And that is probably, that's not sales. That's, hey pal, look, I just saw this. What do you think?
Like, I'm obsessed with this house. You can go look. I put it on my social media last night. I put it on today. I think for where it's located, because I know the city it's located in. I know the cash flow for the separate structures. Like, somebody could live a really good life in that house on the golf course and literally have the house paid for by the two separate structures that are sitting out there that could be Airbnb. Like, I am not doing my job if I am not sitting there thinking about who I should present this opportunity to. And then, oh, by the way, if indeed that client agrees with me and decides to purchase that house, and yeah, I'll get paid. But that is not my focus this morning, to get paid. It's like, this is really a rare opportunity. That's why I feel like these are my clients, because I'm always looking for stuff like this, and I will present it.
Yeah. And what everybody has gotten in the past 40 minutes or so is they've gotten a lesson how to work with people, and this was not, I mean,
Dave, some of these people I don't know. Like, some of them have just come in on my website, but I've had conversations with them. Like they're not friends.
Right.
But I have very strict notes about what they're looking for. I'd love to have a homestead that cash flows. Okay, boom. I just found it.
Right. It's the relationships that you've built is what I'm getting at, because of the skill that you've used to talk to people and to understand and to ask the right questions. Okay, so we're getting near our time, and I want to ask you a really important question. So you bring in a lot of agents to this business. If you were an agent that was maybe a little struggling, we got changes coming up, what would you tell them to do to start building their business better, or to get off their butt and start really working? What would be your best advice or your best skills upskilling to these people?
You have to get known. If you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. You've got to get known, and you don't have to boil the ocean, guys. You don't have to get known by 7 billion people on planet Earth. Okay. You need to be known within your SOI, your sphere of influence, whether that's on social media, or it's in your circles. You have to be best known as the person who is committed to helping your friends and family and their friends and family build generational wealth in real estate. And that means you've got to have courage. You have to go out. You have to start videoing. You've got to take a stance. You have to provide value. And that's more than just doing a 2-minute or 1-minute TikTok video where you're pointing up and down and with little blurbs. I think that's a complete waste of time and money. Yep. I believe in long form video, Dave, like what you do. And I believe that, guys, if I could tell you how many houses I've sold because of social media, you wouldn't believe me. But I'm a now, as of yesterday, a 3-time icon agent at EXP.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so, and all of it was done on social media. None of it was done by buying leads and all of that, right? And it was a hard transition. Going from automotive to real estate. In fact, my good friend Haas Pratt, I went to him the day we signed, and I'm like, what's my story going to be? Like, I was top car dealer in the world. What if I never sell a house? Like, then I go from here. Now I'm a loser. So Haas helped me create my story and why I did what I did. And so I did that. And the minute, guys, I put my story into the universe about my commitment to helping families build generational wealth in real estate, one of my very best friends called me and she said, I want you to list my house. That was my first listing, $900,000. And she's like, I want to support you. I want to see you win. Like, you have got to be the kind of person that your friends and family and their friends and family want to help you win.
Yeah. And the mic drop right there. There's really nothing else I can say. I mean, you really want to get yourself out there. So you talk about social media. I just got a couple quick questions on this.
Sure.
You're talking about social media, getting out there and getting known. Is there a couple of questions? Number one, is there a number of times you should post and what you should post? I mean, is there any limiting belief, any limiting thing there? There's a lot of limiting beliefs. There's nothing limit there. I mean, as many times as you want. Is that what it is?
I mean, I look at my friends, the Cardones, and when I'm with them, and Lena and I travel together a lot. We've been to Brazil and New York and all over the world together. And she's constantly like doing stories and stuff, right? Because they're influencers. They want to reach 7 billion people on planet Earth with their products and services. So because they want to reach 7 billion people, they are on all day, every day. When I'm at their house, Grant's always like, hey, let's do a story. Like, it's all the time, okay? Because that's their business model. But, I think once a day is enough, but like, make it relevant. Make it relevant, make it count. Like, I just posted a video on my Facebook, and it was of the art gallery last night that was in the studio of that house I'm so obsessed with.
Right.
Okay, like it's not like a big deal, but like, to me, it's like me telling my audience, like, hey, this is what I like. This is really cool art.
Right.
So make it where people can get to know you. Like, you've got to take people on a journey. People want to be part of your life. They do. Yep. But to have a friend, you have to be a friend. And so what does that mean? All of these people that are supporting you on social media, you need to be supporting them. If your friend is an insurance agent, you should have your insurance with your friend, because then at that point, that friend might be, might refer, people who want to buy houses to you. Like it has to be a give and take. Like, I do business with my friends. Sometimes I pay a little bit more to support the local entrepreneurs, to support my friends. I don't look for the cheapest deal. I look for the most strategic deal and who I can support in my sphere of influence, because I'm constantly asking for their support.
That's fantastic. There was one other question. I don't remember what it was, but that's okay. This has been a great broadcast. And I really want to thank you for coming on. I have two things more for you. One's a question, one's a statement. Number one, how do I help you grow your business? Well, I think just by, inviting me on this podcast today. Thank you. Sharing it out. And, and I feel like now, Dave, you and I know each other. And so maybe if I've got some new agents, and I know you've got a great training program going on, maybe you could allow some of my agents to come in and learn from you. And I do a sales meeting every Thursday at 10 a.m. Central. Your people are always invited to come in. So I think as long as, as long as we work together, because you and I have the same heart and the fact that we want to see our teams win. So to me, someone like a you and a me, the best thing we can do is continue to collaborate. 100%. I appreciate that. And we absolutely will. And of course, I know there's a little incentive for you to come on the broadcast today. I know Haas has one.
Promised.
But I know, and here it is. Here it is. This hat coming your way. Haas has a different color. You're gonna have this color. He doesn't have this one yet. Okay. So we'll get Haas on when things are good for him. We can get when he can do it. And Lisa, this has been really good. Just stay on for an end. We just want to make everybody knows that Lisa's information is on the screen right now. I just want to pop one quick thing up. Next week, we have John Pugh, who's the team leader of the Pugh Group in California. John's a great guy, great inspirational guy. He's on TikTok all the time, Instagram. He does a lot of great work on social. And I want to thank you again, Lisa, for coming on. Just stick with us for 1 minute as we go off. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Of course, hit the videotape, Nelson. Hey.